Good. And let's just take a little slow roll onto our backs. Again, please support the head so that your chin isn't pointing up to the ceiling, cranking through the back of the neck. The shoulder roll initially placed underneath the shoulders to give the lift into the thoracic. So again, with the lift, we'll be curling up. So we'll do the little test run first to see if your towel or bolster is too high or too low. So just take a moment first, maybe placing the hands on the low belly, taking a little bit of a tilt into the pelvic. So just so that you can kind of straighten out through the low back as you're on this slant on the towel. Feet are parallel, hip distance apart, as are the thighs. And just close down the eyes. I'm just kidding, I'm not snoring. And soften the shoulders. Soften the jaw. Maybe even notice if the tongue is resting on the top of the roof of the mouth. Can you just relax the tongue? That goes all the way into the throat, by the way, so that releases the neck a little bit as well. And just come into your day as we come onto the mat. Taking just a couple deep breaths in and out the nose. And then we'll blink the eyes open. Take that block or whatever you're using from behind the head and just set it aside. And bring the head down to the mat. So this is where we initially notice the height of our towel. So if you can breathe and even talk unconstricted, the towel might be in a good place. So open up the elbows as you interlace behind the head. Again, just getting some broadness through the shoulder blades, through the collarbone, all the way out to the elbows. Again, just notice the towel. And then release that, bring the heels of the hands to the hip crease. And we'll just take a couple slow rolls to wake up the front and the back body. And again, to make any adjustments we need before we start the practice. So fingertips point up towards the knees as you draw the belly in with a nice full breath. Exhale, slide the hands up towards the knees as you lift the head and shoulders. No pressure in the neck, just lifting through the shoulder tips. And then slide back down. And we'll take it 4 more times with breath. So inhaling, draw in that core. And as you exhale, curl it up. And back down. 3 more. And as you finish the 3rd one, we'll make whatever adjustments you need. I'm going to lower mine down just a bit. And this time, remember, as we go through the routine, the gaze stays up at the ceiling. It's why we keep this sequence exactly the same so that there's no need to look at your device. You'll actually hurt your neck if you do. So interlacing behind the back of the head, the skull, taking in a breath, bring the elbows up to the ceiling, keeping your gaze at the ceiling and then letting it follow your elbows. Take in a full breath, draw in the belly, and come up halfway. On your exhale, curl in, elbows towards the knees. Inhale, come back halfway, and exhale, lower. So we're going to take 5. Inhaling, we come up. Exhaling, we curl in. Inhaling, we come back halfway. And exhaling, we set it all down. Again, 4 more on your own. Nice, slow, and controlled. Each movement a full breath. As you finish the last one and come down, open up the elbows, just relax a little bit on that towel. And again, if you could feel this, you stay just taking that sequence. I'm going to lead elbow to the knee across the body. If you follow me, remember, we do not want the knee to meet the elbow. We want the elbow to reach to the knee. So the knee will stay placed right over its hip bone. Okay, big inhale, elbows up, belly in. Inhale halfway, exhale, curl in. Come back halfway and lower. Inhale up, exhale, curl. Inhale back half and down. 4 more. Up, cross, back, and down. Watch that you're not pulling on your head. Keep the core really engaged. And again, as you finish the last one, resting the head, open up the elbows. So hopefully you feel right in the sternum where the ribs come together. Those were the muscles that sequence targets. So we're going to roll over to the side, remove what's underneath the shoulders, set it off to the side for a moment, coming into that bridge pose position here, arms beside the body, the palms down. So as you're ready, again, take that little pelvic tilt so that you can feel the low back resting on the mat, pressing into the heels and the back of the arms, lift the hips up, coming into your bridge. As you come into your bridge, your weight shifts to that space between the shoulder tips. That's your bridge across the upper back. See if you can lift the hips a little bit higher. Keep the knees in line. Don't let them splay out. Good. And just take a moment here, maybe even if you can interlace your hands underneath you and squeeze the shoulder blades in. Again, opening for the front, a little bit of a back bend for the back, squeezing in through the glutes. And there's a method to our madness. So as we are up here, we're going to take that towel or bolster, and we're going to just slide it underneath the body at the hips so that it rests right on the sacrum. And take one more squeeze in your bridge as you place that underneath you, and then slowly lower the back down. Adjust your towel so it's not in the low back, it's not on the fleshy part of the buns, it's right on that little shelf that was made just for this. Good. As you're ready here, legs come into table. Again, I'm going to keep my heel of my hands at my hip crease because I have a tendency to draw my knees in closer to my body, but we want it stacked right over. Again, make the adjustment on your towel, and we're just going to do alternate heel drops. So belly's in to support the spine. Big inhale, exhale, lower the left heel down and tap. And slowly bring it back up. And then followed by the right. Using your breath here. So whether you're inhaling or exhaling with the movement, it doesn't really matter as long as each movement is a full breath. Now, while your hands are maybe down there by the heel crease, if you take your finger pads right between those hip points, right by the pubis bone, and press in with the finger pads, you're going to feel muscles that we're working in the very, very low belly here. Nice, controlled, slow movement. Slower is a lot more effective because you're not using momentum to make the move. You're actually using those muscles to draw that leg back into position. All right, wherever you are, maybe one more each side. Coming back to that table, draw the knees into the chest nice and slow. Let the hips roll up with you onto your towel or bolster so you get this nice curve through the spine and a nice opening through the glutes. And then come back to your bridge position. You can stay again with tabletop legs. I'm going to extend mine to the ceiling, flex through my heels. So all of a sudden, boom, I'm activating the whole back chain of my legs. And same thing, my heels of my hands are resting at the hip crease. We're going to drop one heel at a time with legs extended. So as you're ready, big inhale draws the belly in, and we lower the left heel any amount. If you feel this in your low back, don't come down as far. Nice and slow to come back. Alternate, other heel. And slowly raise it back up. That's where you're using those muscles to bring the weight of that leg back into position. You're working against gravity, and you've got the weight there to really engage those muscles to get the leg back there. Just alternate, use your breath. Continue to notice whether you feel this in the low back. If you do, adjust the towel. Maybe it's not in the right place. Keep the belly really engaged against the spine, or don't come down as far. Good. Let's take one more each side. And again, bend the knees, draw them into the chest. Big hug, squeeze in, round in. Child's pose on your back, you guys. So if your knees are ever sore, ankles sore, you can always take child's pose just like this. Deep breath in, both legs extend. We won't do as many of these. Two legs become one. In this particular sequence, I only come down about a third because my muscles in my front body are not strong enough, so my back body wants to take over. So just be aware of that. Draw in your core, take a full deep breath. Exhale, lower both legs down any amount. Inhale, pulls them back up. We're going to take 5 more. Nice and controlled. Full breath. This is where it's easy to hold your breath. And last one. Again, knees draw in. Place the feet back into that bridge position. We're going to lift right back into that bridge. So pressing in through your heels, the back of your hands, lift the hips high, roll the weight to the upper shoulders. At the same time you're in your bridge, maybe lift those hips higher, remove the towel or the bolster. Maybe interlace and squeeze those shoulder blades under. Again, notice that the weight isn't in your head or your neck. So resting in that upper shoulder. And then slowly lower back down. Pause there so that the spine relaxes on your mat. Your pelvis flattens, levels out. Walk the heels out to the side of the mat. And we'll just take a windshield wiper nice and slow. Releasing that low back. And then heel toe the feet back together at center. And pick up that right leg, cross it over the left. So if you have eagle in your practice and you want to double bind the feet, double bind and then just rest the toes down. Arms extend out to a T. We pick up the arms, bring them overhead. Right arm under the left, crisscrossing at the elbows. Again, Double bind at the wrist, or just bring your hands to the upper back part of the shoulders if you don't want to bind through the forearms. And elbows up. Draw in your core, tuck in your pelvis. So now you feel the whole spine on the mat. And as you're ready, big breath in and exhale, elbows go towards the knees. Knees don't come past, and then back down. Inhale, draws the belly in, and exhale, we curl up. Inhale, lower, belly in, up, curl in, and down. Curl up, just like you could tuck that hip bone right into the low ribs, and down. And then this time, as you come up, we're going to hold it for a full breath. So take a big inhale in, followed by an exhale. And then slowly release all the way down and unravel. Arms come to cactus. Again, let those knees fall right and left in your windshield. And then we'll heel toe back and we'll take it to the other side. So this time, left leg crosses the right. Again, option to double bind. Arms lift, left arm underneath the right, cross at the elbows. Hands can come to the back of the shoulders. You can press the forearms or you can double bind. Arms overhead. Big inhale as the belly comes in. You can feel the spine resting on the mat. Exhale, lift up, elbows towards the knee. Inhale, lower. One more. Draw it up. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, lower. 3 more. As you come into your third, we're going to hold it again for a breath. So draw the deep breath in, draw the belly button in. Stay for the long exhale. And then inhale, release, unravel. Arms to cactus, last time. Windshield wiper it out. And we actually get up early for this. Can you imagine? Okay, grab that block. Let's work into the obliques. Again, this is where we bring the legs to one side, and after we go right and left, we'll hover for a bit. Just again, you come to sensate. This is very easy to pull those intercostal muscles. So you are warmed up in your belly area. Just pay attention at first as we go back and forth, just to come to that point of sensation. And then when we hold it, you'll be in a much better spot knowing. So long part of the block goes from the knees into the inner thighs. Hands can come in any position. Some people like to hold on to the side of their mat because it gives them a little bit of leverage. You can put your arms out to a T or cactus, whatever feels good in the upper body. This is all about obliques. Okay, bring the knees up to your tabletop. Again, a little bit of a tilt into the pelvis so that the low back is supported by the mat. Taking in a breath. We'll go to the right first. Inhale. Exhale. Knees over to the right, any amount. Inhale, back to center. Belly's drawn in. Big inhale, and then exhale. Take it left. So the upper body doesn't move at all. Shoulders are nice and flat. Bring it back on the inhale. Exhale, right. Let's take about 5 each side. Center and left. Each time, squeezing that block, maybe coming down a little bit more. Again, only if it feels good. And as you're doing this and squeezing the block, maybe you notice it feels good, that nice rock along the sacrum there. Couple more. Finishing up and coming back to center. Again, readjust your block if you need to, squeezing it in. We'll head over to the right to hold for 3 breaths. So squeeze the block, squeeze the belly, low back on the mat. Exhale, over to the right, squeezing the block. Shoulders nice and flat, head looking at the ceiling. Upper body totally relaxed. Squeeze the block and hold. Make sure you're breathing nice and full. Next inhale draws us back to center. Pause for a moment, just level out the hips. Draw the core in again, lengthen through the spine. Press the block. As you exhale, take it to the left. Keep squeezing the block. Keep flowing your breath. Last one here. Big inhale, take that block back to center. Remove it. Again, just draw the knees into the chest. Maybe take some circles with those knees. One knee right, one knee left. Take it down to the back of your mat as you roll more onto your tailbone. And then draw up the spine as you bring the knees back in. Just enjoy a slow roll up the spine as you just release through the hips and reverse that. And we'll get ready for our grand finale of forearm plank. So roll over to the side. Come into your tabletop first, just to flow a couple cat-cows. We've been on our back. So just to bring some movement into the spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. As you inhale, as you drop that belly, this ought to feel good. It kind of stretches out all those muscles that we did in the front body. And then tuck it all in. Chin comes in, press through your palms, round through your shoulders, and tuck the tailbone. And just flow a couple here, noticing the front and the back body. Good. Coming back to neutral, drop down to your forearms. Send the right foot back onto the ball of the foot and send the left foot back to meet it. So here, lower your hips so that they're the same level as your shoulders. Make sure that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. An option here, I like to take the option, it makes me feel like I've got more support, to take a fist and place the hands at the center of the mat. As you do so, maybe press into your forearms, send the heels back behind you to find length through the legs, send the heart forward. Good. We're not collapsing in the chest. Keep pressing through those forearms, rounding through the shoulders. Again, core is very engaged here, and your breath is flowing. We're going to be here for 1 minute. It's only 1 minute. Don't lose your form. Keep the hips in line. Keep the heels back. Lift the chest forward. Gaze straight down, either between your forearms or at your fist. Another 15 seconds. Big breath in. You can always drop down to your knees. This is all of your muscles, all of your core, holding up your whole body weight. So if you start to shake or wobble, that's all those stabilizer muscles kicking in, and it's a good thing. 3 seconds. Yay. Drop the knees, drop the hips. Find a Sphinx pose. So release the fist if you have them. Flatten out the palms as you spread the fingers. And then if you could like drag your hands back towards your body. Feel the stretch from the belly button to the sternum. At the same time, squeeze your shoulder blades together to get the top of the shoulders back. We're going for length, not height. So just enjoy the nice stretch. Good. And then stack the palms, elbows wide. Rest the head on the back of the hand. Shimmy out the hips here. Or maybe bring the feet up in windshield wiper if that feels better. Just a nice release for the body. And then release the feet back if they're up. Take a moment, soften the shoulders and the chest down towards the mat. Feel the belly, the hip points and the thighs heavy on your mat. Notice if you have any clenching in your glutes, see if you can just release the hips, everything heavy, everything loose. And this is where we'll close today. Again, if you have the luxury of time, turn your device off and just spend a few moments with yourself. A little bit of gratitude for this wonderful body that gets up to do this first thing in the morning. Gratitude for this day. And gratitude for all of our friends here. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you on Thursday, hips and hammies in our jammies. Bye now.